Shubham sir, I have made you the host.
Okay. Okay. Welcome to the session, guys. As I can see that students are still joining, so let's just wait for 2 more minutes and then we'll be continuing with the session. It's 9:02 p.m. right now. Let's wait for 3 minutes. We'll start the session exactly at 9:05 p.m. Till then, if you want to attempt this particular question, you can do that. Okay. Okay, let's continue with the session now. So this was the last question that we were about to discuss in the previous lecture. So if you have already attempted this question and have got the answer for this one, it's good. And if you haven't attempted the question, if you're joining today for the first time, so please have a look at this question. Try to solve it, guys, and you can spend somewhere around 2.5 to 3 minutes for this particular question. I'll just start the timer for you. And once you're done with this question, once we are done with the next 2.5 minutes of wait, we will be discussing this particular question, guys. उतना ज्यादा डिफिकल्ट नहीं है ये, ठीक है. कल अगर हम लोग इसको करने की कोशिश करते थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट लग सकता था, बट ऑलरेडी यू हैव अटेम्प्टेड फ्यू ऑफ द थिंग्स यस्टरडे, है ना. सो आज उतना डिफिकल्ट नहीं लगना चाहिए. स्टिल आई जस्ट स्टार्ट द टाइमर, गाइस. ओके, द टाइम स्टार्ट्स नाउ. कोशिश करो एक बार करने की. बन गया तो ठीक है, वरना डिस्कस तो हम करेंगे इसे. ठीक है, चलिए, लेट्स वेट फॉर 2 मिनट्स. Okay, let's have a look at the solution for this one. Guys, those who are new to this particular session, let me tell you, we have started with this aptitude series, and this is, I would say, the fifth or sixth lecture of this aptitude series. So you can just check out our channel. You can check the playlist. In the playlist, there is a separate playlist of aptitude. So you can just check out that particular playlist. We have already put all the recorded sessions of the first 5 videos. तो उसे एक बार check out कर लो. You can just start watching the videos in a certain sequence that is already present over there. ठीक है? तो जो sequence है वहाँ पे उस sequence के हिसाब से आप शुरू कर सकते हैं. First you need to start with time and work part 1. Then we have time and work part 2. Then we have time and work part 3. Then we have started with speed and distance part 1, and part 2 is already present over there. This is the third part of speed and distance, guys. Okay, in which we are discussing the topic boats and streams. Okay, so if you're like coming today for the first time, I would request you guys to watch the previous 5 or 6 videos first, and then you can continue with the sessions, guys. Okay, Chali. Let's have a look at the solution for this one. So it says that a boat travels from point P to Q and comes back in 16 hours. Okay, let's see, this is the distance the boat is traveling from point P to the point Q, and we have been given that this distance is exactly of 24 kilometers. Okay, now let's say this direction is the direction in which stream is also flowing. Okay, we have been given that the speed of the we have to figure out the speed of the boat, and we have been given that the speed of the current is going to be the speed of the river or stream. It is 2 kilometers per hour. Okay, let's assume that our current or our water is moving in this particular direction at the speed of 2 kilometers per hour. Okay, so we can say that this direction is along the stream, or it is going to be downstream, and this direction is going to be away from the stream. We can call it as upstream, guys. Now find the speed of the boat. Let's assume that the speed of the boat is x kilometers per hour. Okay, so along the stream, the total speed is going to be the speed of the boat plus speed of the stream. So in this direction of downstream, the actual speed is going to be speed of the boat, which you have assumed to be x, plus the speed of the stream, which is going to be 2. So x plus 2 kilometers per hour. And if I talk about the upstream case, then x minus 2 kilometers per hour. Because in upstream case, it has to be subtracted. Okay. We have been given that the total time taken is 16 hours. So we can just add the individual time and we can equate it with 16 hours. So in order to move in downstream direction, okay, or in order to move from P to Q in downstream, the total distance covered is going to be 24 kilometers, and the speed is going to be x plus 2 kilometers per hour. This is going to be the time taken to move downstream. And if I talk about upstream, so distance is going to be again 24, but the speed is going to be less now. It has to be x minus 2 kilometers per hour. This is going to be the time taken to move upstream. So definitely upstream का ज़्यादा time लगेगा because speed is less. The total time given is the addition of these two, which is given as 24 kilometers, 16 hours. Sorry, the distance over here total is 24 kilometers. Time taken downstream is 24 divided by x plus 2. Plus time taken in upstream is 24 divided by x minus 2. This can be equated with total time, which is going to be of 16 hours, guys. Now you just have to solve this equation in terms of x, and you have to figure out the value of x. Whatever the value of x you will be getting, that is going to be the speed of the boat, guys. Now, either you can just follow the simple technique. You can just simplify the whole equation. You will get a quadratic equation in total. You can solve this quadratic equation to get the value of the answer. Or you can just satisfy the options which are given to you. Okay, now in this particular question, we haven't been given the options. So we just have to solve the whole equation. लेकिन actual exam जब होगा वहां पे आपको options given होंगे. So instead of solving this equation as a whole, you can just try to satisfy the options, guys. ठीक है? अगर option satisfy नहीं हो पा रहे हैं, इसको पूरा solve करना है, तो आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा? थोड़ा cross multiplication से you have to solve it. ठीक है? मैं यहाँ पे short में आपको solve करके दिखा देता हूँ. ठीक है? चलिए थोड़ी जगह बनाते हैं. I hope इतना clear होगा अभी. Let's just see how to solve this particular equation, guys. Now, first we can just take 24 common. So it's going to be 24 into 1 divided by x plus 2 plus 1 upon x minus 2, which is given as 16. Now, this is nothing but 1 by x plus 2 plus 1 upon x minus 2 is equal to 16 divided by 24. This can be cancelled, guys. 8 2s are 16, 8 3s are 24. And this can be taken the LCM over here. ठीक है, यहाँ LCM लेके solve कर सकते हैं cross multiplication से भी. ये जाएगा x minus 2 plus x plus 2 divided by x plus 2 into x minus 2 is a plus b into a minus b, which is nothing but a square minus b square. This is given as equal to 2 by 3 guys. Okay. Yeah, minus 2 and plus 2 goes, so x plus x is nothing but 2x divided by x square minus 4 is equal to 2 by 3. You can just cancel 2 over here. So overall, I'll just shift the solution over here. So I'll be getting x divided by x square minus 4 is equal to 1 upon 3. I can again cross multiply it over here. So 3x is equal to x square minus 4. Therefore, x square minus 3x minus 4 is equal to 0. Now, this is a quadratic equation. I believe everyone knows how to solve it. We just have to factorize it. So it's going to be x square minus 4x plus x minus 4 is equal to 0. Which can be further written as what? We can just take x common from here. So the factorization of this, let me just make some more space to solve this. Okay. Factorization is going to be what? X minus 4 into x plus 1 is equal to 0. Therefore, there are two possible values of x. First possible value of x is going to be x is equal to minus 1. And the second possible value is going to be x is equal to 4. Now, we have assumed the speed of the board as x kilometer per hour. It means speed can never be negative. So we just have to take the positive value, which is x is equal to 4. So what is going to be the speed of the board? It is going to be 4 kilometers an hour. Okay. Let me tell you guys, if you're good with calculations, if you're good with quadratic equations, you can just solve this equation as a whole. It is not very difficult to solve it. With some amount of practice, you will be able to solve these kind of equations. Also, we'll be discussing in a separate video how to solve these kind of quadratic equations. We have a separate video for this thing as well. Okay, तो वहाँ आप सीख सकते हैं. या फिर best ये रहता है कि whatever the options are given to you, just satisfy those options because the numbers over here are not very difficult to solve. Okay, satisfying always becomes an easy task. Okay, chaliye, if you have understood this thing, it's okay, it's really good. But if you haven't understood this thing, watch it once again, guys. है ना? कुछ लोग पूछ रहे हैं कमेंट्स में कि where can I see the past two sessions? Just आप स्किल एज के पेज में जाइए, ठीक है? Just go to the page of skill edge, guys. In YouTube में definitely YouTube के channel पे आप जा सकते हैं. Just go to the channel, skill edge channel, and go to the playlist section. In the playlist section, you'll be able to find an aptitude section over there. There's a playlist of aptitude present over there, and you can start watching the videos in the sequence. Okay. Also, you can just download our application, which is also present in the Play Store. Okay, there's an application of Skill Edge. So download that application and you'll get access to the videos of Aptitude Edge. Okay. Chaliye. Now let's have a look at another question of same category. Okay. इसी की तरह what you have to do is you have to read the question carefully and you have to formulate a equation out of the question. And once you get the equation, you can just substitute the values and check, or you can just solve the equation as a whole. Okay, chaliye, let's try another question. Okay, please have a look at this one. Read it carefully and type your answers in the chat box, guys. I'll just start the timer for you. Okay, your time starts now. I'll give you some extra time to solve this question, guys. Let's say you can take somewhere around 4 minutes to attempt this particular question. Okay, so I believe 4 minutes are gonna be enough. Still, let's see. Okay, let's have a look at the solution for this one. A boat travels from point P to Q and comes back in 10 hours. Find the speed of the boat if the speed of the current is 3 kilometers per hour and the distance between P and Q is 40 kilometers. Now, in this particular question, we have been given that the distance between the point P and Q is exactly 40 kilometers, guys. Now, if let's assume that this is the speed of the current, which is in this direction, this is given as 3 kilometers an hour, guys. Okay. Let's assume that the speed of the boat is x kilometers per hour. So this case is going to be the case of downstream because we are moving along the stream, so it has to be x plus 3 kilometers an hour total speed, guys. And if I talk about this case, this is going to be the case of upstream, so the speed has to be x minus 3 kilometers an hour. Now, if I talk about the total time taken in the case of downstream, so it has to be the distance which needs to be traveled, which is 40 kilometers from point P to K, divided by the speed at which we are traveling. So 40 upon x plus 3. And if I talk about the time taken for upstream, so it has to be the distance traveled, which is 40 divided by the speed at which they are traveling, which is x minus 3. So total time we have been given as equal to 10 hours. We can just add these two values and equate it with 10 hours, guys. Okay. So 40 divided by x plus 3 plus 40 divided by x minus 3 is going to be equal to 10 hours. ठीक है, चलिए इस 40 को नीचे लाएंगे, 0 को हम यहाँ से काट सकते हैं, है ना. Next equation is going to be 1 by x plus 3 plus 1 upon x minus 3 is equal to 1 upon 4. Again, we can just take the LCM and solve it. Also, we can just stop at this particular point and whatever the options which are given to us, we can just try to put these options over here and check. अगर ऑप्शन सेटिस्फाई कर जाते हैं तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, नहीं चेक होते हैं, नहीं सेटिस्फाई होते हैं तो आपको टेंशन लेने की जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि ऐसा कभी नहीं होगा कि सेटिस्फाई नहीं हो गया, और नहीं हो रहा है तो देयर विल बी एन ऑप्शन ऑफ नन ऑफ दीस गाइस. ठीक है, बट in almost all the cases आपको none of these नहीं given होता है, you'll be given some valid options, you can just verify them and check. ठीक है, चलिए, or else you can just solve the whole equation, which is going to be something like this. You can just take an LCM over here. So the next step is going to be x minus 3 plus x plus 3 divided by, this is a plus b into a minus b, right? X plus 3 into x minus 3, which is a square minus b square. This comes out to be equal to 1 upon 4. We can just cancel this 3 and 3 over here. So x plus x is nothing but 2x divided by x square minus 9 is equal to 1 upon 4. We can just cross multiply now. 4 2s are 8x is equal to x square minus 9. Therefore, the whole equation is going to be x square minus 8x minus 9 is equal to 0. This is the final equation that you'll be getting. Let's just make some space to solve this equation over here. Yeah. So I have an equation which is x square minus 8x minus 9 is equal to 0. I can just use the factorization technique to solve this equation, guys. 9 and 1 will be the factors. Those who don't know how to solve these kind of quadratic equations, guys, just wait for few more days. We'll be starting with the different series of quadratic equations as well. Okay, in that we'll be discussing about the different techniques that will be used to solve these equations. Sure. So this is going to be the case. We have two factors. So one we have is x plus 1, one we have is x minus 9 is equal to 0. There are two possible values of x is equal to minus 1 and x is equal to 9. As we have assumed x as the speed, so it can never be negative. Therefore, the value of x has to be 9 kilometers an hour. This is going to be the speed of the boat. Okay, sure. Please have a look at the solution, guys. I can see a few of the people have already answered the question. It's really glad to see that you guys are able to understand this. I just have a small request, guys. I feel that we are going at a slower pace because I can see somewhere around 7-8 people have already answered the question. तो अगर किसी को लग रहा है कि हमारा पेस थोड़ा स्लो जा रहा है, तो आप प्लीज उस चीज को चैट बॉक्स में मेंशन कर देना. ठीक है, इफ somewhere around 4 to 5 people we think that we are going at a slower pace, so we can just increase the pace of the lecture and also we can increase the level of questions as well. ठीक है, also बाकी लोग जो है जिन्हें लगता है कि नहीं भाई पेस थोड़ा ठीक ठाक ही जा रहा है, इससे ज्यादा बढ़ाने की जरूरत नहीं है, तो they can just mention a no over there in the chat box. ठीक है, now जो responses आएंगे मुझे yes और no के, मुझे लगेगा अगर yes के responses ज्यादा है तो I'll just try to increase the speed, और no के ज्यादा responses रहेंगे तो I'll just try to maintain the speed and the level, guys. ठीक है, तो प्लीज रिस्पॉन्स करना वहां पे. बाकी अगला क्वेश्चन जो है वो देख लेते हैं हम उस तरफ. चलिए, ओके, we have a question related to upstream and downstream, guys. This is similar to one of those questions that we have discussed in the previous lecture. Right? So if we have been given the value of the speed of the bot and the speed of the stream, using that we can try to figure out the distance they are traveling or the time which is taken, if some other additional information is also given. Okay, so read karo is question ko and type your answers in the chat, guys. I'll also start the timer for you. Okay. Yes, no लिखना है तो chat box में mention कर देना please speed के regarding. If you feel कि speed बढ़ानी है, just write a yes over there. If you feel कि यार नहीं ठीक चल रहा है, just write a no over there. ठीक है? बाकी इस question को attempt कर सकते हो. Your time starts now. ठीक है कुंजन, कर सकते हैं ये चीज, है ना? फिलहाल के लिए 3 मिनट्स का टाइम दिया हुआ है, तो आई कैन रिड्यूस द टाइम टू 2 मिनट्स. अगर कोई है जो चाहता है कि नहीं यार टाइम चेंज नहीं किया जाए, तो प्लीज मेंशन दैट थिंग इन द चैट बॉक्स. देखो रिस्पॉन्ड करना पड़ेगा यार, ठीक है? मैं पहले भी लेक्चर्स में बता चुका हूँ, दोबारा अभी भी बता रहा हूँ कि हम यूट्यूब में आ रहे हैं तो फिर हमारे पास लिमिटेड एक्सेस हो गया है चीजों का, ठीक है? हम सिर्फ टाइप करके देख सकते हैं. आप लोग अगर टाइप नहीं करोगे चैट बॉक्स में तो मुझे समझ में नहीं आएगा कि आप कितना सीख पा रहे हो, कितना नहीं सीख पा रहे हो, ठीक है? वो फिर एक ऐसा रिकॉर्डिंग की तरह हो जाएगा कि मैं यहाँ पे लाइव आके पढ़ा रहा हूँ या फिर मैं रिकॉर्डिंग प्ले करवा रहा हूँ, वन एंड द सेम थिंग हो जाएगा, ठीक है ना? तो इससे आपका ज्यादा फायदा होगा नहीं. तो अगर आप आंसर्स भले ही नहीं लिख पा रहे हो, सॉल्यूशन अगर नहीं भी बन पा रहा है, तो भी कम से कम यस नो के जो पूछता हूँ सवाल उनका जवाब दो. इट इज बेनिफिशियल फॉर यू गाइज ओनली. चलिए, let's have a look at the solution for this one. So a boat can travel at 15 kilometers per hour and still water from P to Q. If the speed of the stream is 3 kilometers per hour and it takes 4 hours more in upstream than downstream, find the distance from P to Q. Okay. So speed of the stream is already given and speed of the port is already given. So we can figure out what's going to be the speed in case of downstream. So speed of downstream is going to be speed of the port plus the speed of the river or water. The speed of downstream is equal to 15 plus 3 is 18 kilometers per hour. And if I talk about the speed of upstream, so it's going to be speed of port minus speed of river. So speed in upstream case is going to be what? 15 minus 3, which is 12 kilometers an hour. Okay. And I have been given that the speed, okay, he takes 4 hours more in upstream than in case of downstream. Find the distance between P and Q. Let's assume that the distance between P and Q is X kilometers. Okay. Now, time taken in the case of downstream is going to be the total distance traveled divided by the speed. Speed we have figured out to be 80 kilometers an hour. And the time taken in case of upstream is going to be the total distance traveled, which is X kilometers divided by the speed is 12 kilometers an hour. Now, it is asking us, we have been given that it takes 4 hours more in upstream than downstream. So downstream में जितना लग रहा है उसमें if I add 4 hours, I'll be getting the value of upstream. So this is going to be the equation. So downstream time is x by 18 plus 4 is equal to upstream time, which is x by 12. Therefore, 4 is equal to x upon 12 minus x upon 18. I can just solve the whole equation by taking the LCM. So the LCM of 12 and 18 is going to be what? 36 guys. Now 12 3 is 36. It comes out to be 3x over here minus 2x is equal to 4. So 4 is equal to x upon 36. Therefore, the value of x comes out to be 4 into 36. 4 6 are 24, 4 3 are 12, 13, and 14. The value of x comes out to be 144. The distance between P and Q is x kilometers, which is going to be equal to 144 kilometers. कुछ नहीं करना था, इक्वेशन पढ़नी थी, उसके हिसाब से आपको कन्वर्जन्स करने थे एंड फिर आपको सॉल्यूशन देना था. ठीक है, गुड जॉब गुंजन, आंसर करेक्ट है आपका. बाकी लोग जिनका आंसर नहीं आया है आप इसे देख लीजिए अच्छे से. ऑल्सो प्लीज मेंशन दिस इन द चैट बॉक्स अगर आप लेक्चर को फॉलो नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. ठीक है, अगर कोई ऐसा है यहाँ पे जो लेक्चर को फॉलो नहीं कर पा रहा है, जैसे बहुत ज्यादा दिक्कत हो रही है, जैसे चीजें समझ में नहीं आ रही हैं, तो प्लीज मुझे चैट बॉक्स में बता देना. जस्ट गेट टू नो कि यार मतलब कितने लोग फॉलो कर पा रहे हैं चीजों को, है ना. ठीक है, अगर दिक्कत हो रही होगी तो फिर हम और लेवल रिड्यूस कर सकते हैं. राइट, वी कैन फिगर समथिंग आउट. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं अगले क्वेश्चन की तरफ. Okay. Now this is one of those questions in which a lot of data is given, है ना. जनरली ये क्वेश्चंस ऐसे होते हैं जिसको देख के लगता है कि यार ये तो बहुत डिफिकल्ट होगा, बट ऐसा होता नहीं है ना. कुछ ना कुछ लैंग्वेज के फॉर्म में चीजें होती हैं दैट माइट सीम टू बी डिफिकल्ट, बट इफ यू सॉल्व इट स्टेप बाय स्टेप चीजें हो जाती है आराम से. ठीक है, इस क्वेश्चन को आप ट्राई कर सकते हैं. आई जस्ट स्टार्ट द टाइमर फॉर यू गाइस. योर टाइम स्टार्ट्स नाउ. ठीक है, चलिए ट्राई करिए. टाइप योर आंसर्स इन द चैट बॉक्स गाइस. चलिए, let's have a look at the solution for this one. A boat travels from point A to B, a distance of 20 kilometers. From A, it travels 8 kilometers downstream in 20 minutes, and then the remaining 12 kilometers upstream to reach B. Okay? From A to B, the boat is running. The distance is of 20 kilometers, right? Now, initially it travels 8 kilometers downstream. मुझे kilometers भी given है, and I have been given the value of time as well. So time is of 20 minutes, guys, which can be converted in terms of hours. है ना? It is going to be 20 by 60, which is equal to 1/3 hours. Okay? So this is the time which has been given, and the distance is given as 8 kilometers. है ना? So we can figure out the value of speed. Speed is equal to distance divided by time, which is going to be 8 upon 1/3, which comes out to be 24 kilometers an hour. And we have been given that this is downstream. So the value of speed that we have got is the speed in case of downstream, which comes out to be 24 kilometers an hour, guys. Next. 8 kilometers downstream in 20 minutes and the remaining 12 kilometers upstream to reach B. Again, if the downstream speed is thrice as high as the upstream speed, मतलब speed of upstream जो है, ठीक है, उससे 3 times जो है आपका speed of downstream, है ना? Speed of downstream is thrice as high as the speed of upstream. The speed of upstream कितनी हो जाएगी? It's gonna be 1/3 of the speed of downstream. We have already figured out the speed of downstream. So speed of upstream is gonna be 1/3 of speed of downstream, which is 24. So upstream speed is gonna be equal to 8 kilometers an hour. ठीक है ना? So this is 8 kilometers per hour speed of upstream, and we already know the speed of downstream. We have to figure out what is the average speed of the boat for the journey from A to B. For this we have to first figure out the total distance traveled कितना है, and we also need the total time which has been taken. Okay. Now, over here, the average speed is gonna be the total distance traveled divided by the total time taken. Now, distance traveled is already known to us, which is a total of 20 kilometers. And if I talk about the time which has been taken, so we already know that it takes 20 minutes to cover the first 8 kilometers. We just have to figure out the time taken to cover the next 12 kilometers of upstream. Okay. So for the 12 kilometers of upstream, your distance is equal to speed into time. Distance is of 12 kilometers. Speed in case of upstream is how much? 8 kilometers an hour. It's gonna be 8 into the time taken. So 12 divided by 8 is equal to the time taken, which is 4 से cancel होगा, 4 3 से 12, 4 2 is 8. मतलब 3/2 hours are required to cover these 12 kilometers. ठीक है. So average speed of the boat for the journey from A to B. So the boat has traveled a distance of 20 kilometers, and time taken is, first it has taken 20 minutes, which is 1/3 hours, and then it has taken 3/2 hours. So the total time taken is going to be 1/3 hours plus 3/2 hours. This is nothing but 20 divided by LCM ले लोगे यहाँ पे 2 1s are 2 plus 3 3s are 9. 9 plus 2 is 11 divided by 3 2s are 6. So ये 6 ऊपर चला जाएगा, 6 2s are 12. So 120 divided by 11 kilometers per hour is gonna be the average speed of the boat, guys. ठीक है? चलिए, थोड़ा सा लंबा क्वेश्चन था ये, है ना? But काफी चीजें थी इस क्वेश्चन में, तो हो सकता है this question would come in terms of multiple questions. It means you could be given this question and you could be asked at least 2 to 3 questions on behalf of this particular information which is given to you. ठीक है? चलिए, so basically कैसे आपसे पूछ सकता था? हो सकता है आपसे सिर्फ पूछ लेता कि बताओ upstream का speed कितना था यहाँ पे, or it could have asked you कि what is the value of the average speed or the total time taken to cover the journey, है ना? कुछ भी पूछ सकता था आपसे, ठीक है? ऐसे 2-3 चीजें आ सकती. चलिए, this was the solution for the question. I believe चीजें समझ में आ रही होंगी. In case नहीं आ रही है, तो you can mention that in the chat box, guys. ठीक है? चलिए, let's move to the next question. Okay. Now this is a totally different category of question, and trust me, guys, this is one of those questions which is definitely asked in the examination. अभी तक जो हम कर रहे थे वो एक वार्म अप था बेसिकली, है ना? जैसे किसी भी चीज को करने की एक्सरसाइज करते हैं हम लोग, है ना? कोई भी टास्क स्टार्ट करने के लिए हम कुछ टाइप का वार्म अप करते हैं, तो जो भी कर रहे थे दैट वाज बेसिकली अ वार्म अप. हमने चीजें देखी, कॉन्सेप्ट देखा, उसके बेस पे हमने 2-3 क्वेश्चन सॉल्व किए. नाउ the type of question that we'll be looking at is going to be one of those questions which would be actually asked in the examination. ठीक है? So first, do try to solve this question. It is going to be a bit difficult. थोड़ा बड़ा इक्वेशन बन सकता है. Still, आप एक बार ट्राई करो इस क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करने का. ठीक है? हो गया तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, नहीं हुआ तो we'll have a look at the solution for this one We'll also have a look at a short technique that could be used to solve these kind of questions, guys. Okay? चलिए, try करिए इसे. Your time starts now. Yes, Pratiksha, you can just check out the playlist of this particular channel. In the playlist, you will be finding a separate section over there of aptitude. ठीक है, उसको open करो, aptitude के section में जाओ. We are done with at least 4 to 5 lectures till now. आप उन 4-5 lectures को देखिए अच्छे से, आपको समझ में आ जाएगा ऊपर का बेस किस तरीके से बना हुआ. ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, अगर आपको चीजें समझ में नहीं आ रही हैं, कोई दिक्कत की बात नहीं. आप उन वीडियोस को जब आप देखेंगे तो आपको आज की चीजें जो है वो रिलेट हो जाएंगी. ठीक है, एंड थैंक्स अ लॉट फॉर मेंशनिंग दिस थिंग. जैसे प्रतीक्षा ने मेंशन किया, वैसे और भी अगर लोग हैं जो फर्स्ट टाइम आ रहे हैं, जिन्हें चीजें समझ में नहीं आ रही हैं, सो प्लीज 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 चेक आउट द वीडियोस व्हिच आर ऑलरेडी अपलोडेड इन दिस चैनल. आपको प्लेलिस्ट में जाना है, वहां पे एप्टीट्यूड का प्लेलिस्ट मिलेगा आपको. चेक आउट द वीडियोस फ्रॉम दैट प्लेलिस्ट. ठीक है, टाइम एंड वर्क से शुरू किया था हमने. टाइम एंड वर्क पार्ट 1 है, फिर पार्ट 2 है, फिर पार्ट 3 है, फिर स्पीड एंड डिस्टेंस का पार्ट 1 है, फिर पार्ट 2 है, फिर पार्ट 3 है आज. ठीक है, चेकआउट करो वीडियोस को. ऑल्सो अगर प्रतीक्षा के अलावा और भी ऐसे लोग हैं जिन्हें समझ में नहीं आ रही हैं चीजें, आज का फर्स्ट डे है, तो आप मेंशन कर सकते हैं इस चीज को चैट में. तो उस अकॉर्डिंग मैं अपने लेक्चर को थोड़ा मॉडिफाई करूंगा. अगर ऑलमोस्ट सभी लोग नए हैं या फिर एटलीस्ट 70-80% भी लोग हैं जिन्हें चीजें नहीं आ रही हैं, जिन्हें नहीं लग रही है चीजें, तो बताओ मुझे. आई विल हेल्प यू आउट विद द टॉपिक्स. Also, I can also at least modify the lecture. Please बताइएगा. चलिए, let's have a look at the solution for this one. So I've been given a boat covers a distance of 40 km upstream and 44 km downstream in 12 hours. ठीक है, थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट था आई बिलीव बिकॉज आंसर किसी का नहीं आया यहाँ पे, है ना? कोई नहीं, अटेम्प्ट करना ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट था. चलिए देखते हैं. It covers a distance of 30 km upstream and 55 km downstream in 11 hours. What is the speed of the boat in still water? I haven't been given the speed of the boat and I have also not been given the speed of the river. Now you'll get these type of questions जिनमें आपको ना ही स्ट्रीम के बारे में गिवन होता है, ना ही बोट के बारे में गिवन होता है, और जो डेटा गिवन होता है वो अपस्ट्रीम डाउनस्ट्रीम दोनों का कंबाइंड होता है. ठीक है, तो जब ऐसे कंबाइंड डेटा गिवन रहता है तब आप देख सकते हैं कि ये क्वेश्चन थोड़ा सा टफ हो जाता है. ठीक है, लेट्स सी व्हाट वी कैन डू. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी कैन अज्यूम सम थिंग्स ओवर हियर. Let's assume that x is the speed of the boat and let's assume that my y is the speed of the river. ठीक है, so in this case if I talk about downstream, so the speed is going to be x plus y, and if I talk about upstream, so it's going to be x minus y. ठीक है, next is 40 किलोमीटर upstream का travel हो रहा है. If I talk about the time taken to travel upstream, the time taken for travel upstream is going to be what? Distance which is traveled divided by the speed at which they have traveled. So upstream speed is x minus y, so this is going to be the time taken. Whereas if I talk about the downstream time, so distance is of 44 kilometers per hour, 44 kilometers distance, and time speed is going to be downstream के case में it has to be x plus y, and the total time taken is of 12 hours, guys. We can just add all these two times and equate it with 12. So the first equation is going to be 40 divided by x minus y plus 40 divided by x plus y is equal to 12. Apart from this, we have also been given that the same boat travels a distance of 30 km upstream and 55 km downstream in 11 hours. So similarly, if I talk about 30 kilometers, so downstream and upstream के case में, let's have a look at the times. So time for upstream is going to be what? 30 kilometers in upstream, so it has to be x minus y. And for downstream, it has to be the distance is 55 kilometers. So the speed is going to be x plus y over here, downstream के case. Now the equation is going to be 30 divided by x minus y. This is the time taken for upstream plus 55 divided by x plus y, which is the time taken for downstream. And the sum of these two times is given to me as 11 hours. Okay. So these are the two equations. We have got two equations and we have also got two unknowns, guys. Right? Yes. So the values of x and y needs to be found, which can be actually found from these two equations. Okay. Once you get the values of x and y, you'll be having the value of the speed of the boat and the speed of the still water as well. तो दोनों चीजें आपकी आंसर हो सकती है. But the problem is कि if you try to solve these two equations, now it becomes very very difficult because you have to assume x plus y to be something, x plus y to be something, और ये complicated equations हैं. So one thing that you can do is you can just try to use the options to solve this question. But again, option में आपको x और y दोनों की वैल्यू होगी नहीं वहाँ पे, है ना, तो चीजें और डिफिकल्ट हो जाती है. तो इस टाइप के क्वेश्चन को अगर आपने ऐसी इक्वेशन बना के सॉल्व करना है तो वो डिफिकल्ट होगा. तो माय सजेशन विल बी फर्स्ट थिंग अवॉइड दिस टेक्निक टू सॉल्व दिस काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस. ठीक है, पहला ये है कि आपको ये टेक्निक अवॉइड करनी है टू सॉल्व दिस काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस. यस, ग्रेस कर्टिस, आई डिड अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट यू हैव रिटन ओवर देयर, सो प्लीज कैन यू प्लीज इलैबोरेट दैट थिंग. या सो ये क्वेश्चन थोड़ी सी डिफिकल्ट हो सकती है, सो अवॉइड यूजिंग दिस टेक्निक गाइस. आप में से काफी लोगों ने ये क्वेश्चन बनाई होगी, तो मत बनाना. करना कैसे है, शॉर्ट टेक्निक मैं वो सिखा देता हूँ. Once you get this type of question, first of all you have to write things in this sequence. Let's say write upstream over here, downstream over here, and the time taken over here. So first we have been given that we have traveled 40 kilometers upstream and 44 kilometers downstream, and the total time taken was of 12 hours. Next, it has been given that it covers a distance of 30 kilometers upstream and 55 kilometers upstream. For this, it takes 11 hours. Just write things down as it is given over here. Then what you can do is you can subtract the second equation from the first equation. So 40 minus 30 is going to be 10. 44 minus 55 is going to be minus 11, guys, and 12 minus 11 is going to be 1. Now what you have to do is you have to make this equation similar to either the first equation or the second equation. Okay. First, you have to subtract the second equation from the first equation, and then whatever the equation you will be getting, let's say this is my third equation, you have to make this third equation either equal to the first equation or the second equation. So देख लेते हैं. Let's just try to make this third equation equal to the first equation. कैसे होगा? This 10 has to be multiplied by the number 4 to get the value equal to 40. Okay. So I'll just multiply this by the number 4. If I multiply it by the number 4, it becomes equal to 40. बस मुझे उतना ही करना था, ठीक है. Once I multiply this one by 4, I also have to multiply this one by 4 as well as this one by 4. ठीक है. The whole equation needs to be multiplied by 4. Now this value comes out to be what? 40. This value comes out to be minus 44, and this value comes out to be 4. Now, as we know that this value has become equal to this value, we can just subtract this fourth equation from the first equation, guys. Now, if I subtract this fourth equation from the first equation, this 40 minus 40 will become equal to 0. So our whole motive was to make the upstream equal to 0. Because once we get the value of upstream is equal to 0, so whatever the time that have been taken, the whole time would have been taken only for downstream. And in that case, you can figure out the speed of downstream. आपको क्या करना है? फर्स्ट इक्वेशंस के बराबर आपको थर्ड इक्वेशन को बनाना है. उससे क्या होगा कि हम फर्स्ट में से थर्ड को जब घटाएंगे तो आपको 0 मिलेगा. वहां पे 0 मिलने से आपको सिर्फ और सिर्फ डाउनस्ट्रीम की इंफॉर्मेशन होगी, और उस केस में आप क्या कर सकते हैं? डाउनस्ट्रीम की स्पीड निकाल सकते हैं. कैसे? देखिए, यू हैव टू सब्ट्रैक्ट दिस फोर्थ इक्वेशन फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट इक्वेशन. सो 40 minus 40 comes out to be 0. ठीक है. 44 minus minus 44, 44 minus minus 44 is gonna be 44 plus 44. तो ये 88 हो जाएगा, है ना. माइनस इंटू माइनस प्लस, एंड 12 minus 4 comes out to be 8. Now we can see we have upstream is equal to 0. It means if I have to travel only downstream, I would require 8 hours to travel a distance of 88 kilometers. ठीक है. आपका अपस्ट्रीम का ट्रैवल 0 आ चुका, मतलब सिर्फ डाउनस्ट्रीम का 88 kilometers is required to be traveled in 8 hours. So I have the value of distance, I have the value of time, I can figure out speed now. ठीक है. तो स्पीड कितना होगा? Whatever the distance has been given divided by time, it means 88 divided by 8, which comes out to be 11. So the speed over here of downstream is coming out to be 11 kilometers per hour, guys. This is the speed of downstream. Now 11 kilometer per hour say, I'll check how much time it is required to cover a distance of 44 kilometers. ठीक है. देखो, first of all मैंने figure out कर लिया है कि what is the speed of downstream. I know कि to travel 44 kilometers, I am traveling at a speed of 11 kilometer per hour. Now I can figure out the time taken to travel this downstream. ठीक है. So 44 is the distance in kilometers. This is the speed in kilometer per hour. You can figure out the time taken, which is gonna be distance upon speed. So 4 hours. मतलब if I want to travel 44 kilometer of downstream using this particular boat, I would require 4 hours. In the question, it is saying that a boat covers a distance of 40 kilometer upstream and 44 kilometer downstream in 12 hours. So 40 kilometer upstream or 44 kilometer downstream has covered in 12 hours, and only 44 kilometer downstream requires 4 hours. It means out of these 12, 4 hours are required only for traveling downstream. So rest of the 8 hours will be required for traveling upstream. मतलब these 40 kilometers can be traveled in 8 hours. तो यहाँ से आपको क्या मिल जाएगा? स्पीड ऑफ अपस्ट्रीम. है कि नहीं? यहाँ से स्पीड ऑफ डाउनस्ट्रीम मिली थी आपको 11 किलोमीटर पर आवर, यहाँ से स्पीड ऑफ अपस्ट्रीम मिल जाएगी कितनी? डिस्टेंस इज 40 किलोमीटर्स, करेक्ट, एंड द टाइम इज 8 hours. सो डिस्टेंस अपॉन टाइम इज स्पीड. 40 by 8 is 5 kilometers per hour. ठीक है. So once you have the upstream speed and once you have the downstream speed, now you can figure out the value of the speed of the boat. ठीक है. So speed of downstream क्या होगा? Speed of the boat plus speed of the river, which is downstream का speed, which is given as 11, and speed of the boat minus speed of the river, which is upstream, is speed given as 5. You can just add all both these equations. So twice of speed of boat is equal to what? ये कटेगा. 11 plus 5 is 16. So speed of the boat is equal to 16 upon 2, which is 8 kilometers an hour. Don't worry, I'll repeat the solution, guys. जितना समझ में आया उतना देखो. What we were supposed to do over here? First of all, you are supposed to figure out the value of upstream in, or what you can say is, first of all, you were supposed to make this upstream equal to 0. ठीक है. तो अगर आप upstream को एक बार 0 बना लेते हैं तो उससे फायदा क्या होता है? We get the value of downstream only the travel which is done in terms of downstream, and we also get only the value of time. सिर्फ डाउनस्ट्रीम का किलोमीटर मिल जाता है, डाउनस्ट्रीम का टाइम मिलता है, तो उससे डाउनस्ट्रीम की स्पीड निकल जाती है. एक बार डाउनस्ट्रीम की स्पीड निकल गई तो डाउनस्ट्रीम का टाइम निकल जाएगा. 12 में से 4 घंटे डाउनस्ट्रीम के लिए दिए गए थे, मतलब 8 घंटे अपस्ट्रीम में दिए गए थे. 8 घंटे अपस्ट्रीम में दिए गए थे तो 40 किलोमीटर चलने के लिए उसको 5 किलोमीटर प्रति घंटे की रफ्तार से जाना था. अपस्ट्रीम की स्पीड और डाउनस्ट्रीम की स्पीड निकल गई है तो वहां से स्पीड ऑफ द बोट निकलना तो आसान होता है. ठीक है. ये तो हमने कल से सीखा हुआ. ठीक है. Guys, I'll just give you 1 minute to read this thing carefully, and if there is anyone who has not understood the question, please let me know. I'll explain the whole thing from the starting once again. ठीक है? अगर कोई एक बंदा भी है जिसे समझ में नहीं आया है तो प्लीज जस्ट टाइप a no in the chat box. I'll just repeat the whole solution once again, guys. ठीक है? Let me start the timer. किसी को भी अगर समझ में नहीं आया तो यस लिख देना चैट बॉक्स में, मैं पूरा रिपीट कर दूंगा. ठीक है? आराम से देखो, समझ लो, 1 मिनट ले लो. Good. चलिए. So as you've understood this thing, please. ठीक है, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं फिर अगले क्वेश्चन की तरफ. Have a look at this one, guys. It is similar to the previous question. Read it carefully and type your answers in the chat box, guys. The time starts now. Okay. Chaliye, let's have a look at the solution for this one. So I've been given a boat covers a distance of 80 kilometer upstream. Same category of question, guys. Let's just write upstream over here. Okay. And we have got downstream and we have got the time. So upstream is 80 kilometers. The travel of downstream is 120 kilometers. And the time is of 26 hours. It covers a distance of 100 kilometers upstream and 144 kilometers downstream. And the time is taken of 32 hours, guys. Okay. Again, 80 minus 100 कर लेते हैं यहाँ पे. 80 minus 100 is minus 20. So 120 minus 144 is minus 24, right? 30, 40, 44 so 24 है ना? Now 26 minus 32 is gonna be minus 6, guys. Okay. Now let's just try to make this third equation equal to first equation. So we can just multiply it by 4. This has to be multiplied by 4 and this also has to be multiplied by 4. So 4 twos are is minus 80, 4 fours are 16, 4 twos are 8 plus 1 is 96, so minus 96. 4 6 is minus 24. Now I can just add these two equations to make it 0. है ना? Subtract करने की जरूरत नहीं. I can just add them over here. 80 minus 80 is 0. 120 minus 96 कितना होगा? 24. है ना? और 26 minus 24 इसका addition क्या हो जाएगा? यहाँ पे भी क्या था addition? है ना? This addition is gonna be 2. मतलब 24 kilometer of downstream can be traveled in 2 hours, guys. Okay, so the value of the speed is going to be 24 by 2, which is 12 kilometers per hour. Yeah? This is the speed of downstream. Now the distance is of 120 kilometers and we know the speed of 12 kilometers an hour. Okay, so using this we can figure out the time it takes, right? These are the kilometers, so the time is going to be 120 by 12, so 10 hours. So exactly 120 kilometers can be traveled in 10 hours. We have got a total of 26 hours over here. मतलब 10 hours के अलावा the rest of the time is used to travel upstream. So कितने hours? It's gonna be 16 hours, है ना? So out of 26, 10 is utilized. It means the remaining t is gonna be 26 minus 10, which is 16 hours, guys. है ना? Now 80 kilometer in 16 hours. Let's check out the value of speed now. Speed of upstream is gonna be how much? Distance divided by time. 80 by 16 is 5. 16 by 80. So 5 kilometers per hour is gonna be the speed of the upstream. Now we know that the speed of downstream is nothing but the addition, right? So speed of the boat plus speed of the river comes out to be speed of downstream, which is 12, and speed of the boat minus speed of the river, which comes out to be upstream, which is 5. Just we can add these two values. So twice of speed of the boat comes out to be 12 plus 5 is 17. The value of speed of the boat is going to be 17 by 2. Okay. यस ज्योति का आंसर आया जो कि करेक्ट है. गौरव करेक्ट, कुंचन करेक्ट. कुंचन ने काफी पहले दे दिया था, बहुत अच्छे. ठीक है, ऐसे आंसर्स दे दिया करो यार, अच्छा लगता है देखने में. ठीक है, चलो. तो एक क्वेश्चन और है सेम कैटेगरी का. आई जस्ट वेट फॉर 30 मोर सेकेंड्स गाइस. कोई है ऐसा जैसे इश्यूज हो रहे हैं तो प्लीज बताना. ठीक है, नहीं है तो फिर कोई दिक्कत की बात ही नहीं है. चलिए, let's just wait for 30 more seconds, then we'll move to the next question. Okay, let's move to the next question. Have a look at this one, guys. Similar to the previous questions category. Time लो अपना, कोई दिक्कत की बात नहीं है, आराम से solve करना. Still मैं timer लगा देता हूँ. The time starts now. गुड जॉब गुंजन, बाकी लोग भी कोशिश करो। लेट्स वेट फॉर 2 more minutes। लास्ट टाइम भी कुछ लोग यहाँ से आए थे, इस बार भी आने चाहिए, तो ट्राई कर लो। हो गया तो अच्छी बात है ना। 1-2 मिनट और वेट करते हैं। Okay. So this was the solution for the question, guys. I believe चीजें थोड़ी सी समझ में आ रही होंगी आप लोगों को, है ना? Just a second. Okay. So that was all for today, guys. ये लास्ट क्वेश्चन था हमारा बोट्स एंड स्ट्रीम का, ठीक है। सो यू कैन वॉच दीज वीडियोस वंस अगेन, है ना। इनमें जो क्वेश्चंस हमने किए हुए हैं ये क्वेश्चंस काफी इंपॉर्टेंट हैं एंड इससे बाहर की ज्यादा चीजें आती नहीं एग्जाम, ठीक है। क्वेश्चंस को अच्छे से प्रैक्टिस कर लोगे, इट्स गोना बी बेटर। Also, you can just download the application of Skill Edge, guys. Okay, in that you can find an aptitude edge section present over there. Skill Edge के app में एक aptitude edge का section है. You can just open that particular section. You can practice a lot of questions which are given in terms of assignments over there. Also वहाँ पे timer भी चलता रहता है, तो आपको अंदाजा होगा कि एक question को solve करने में time कितना लग रहा है. ठीक है? So please check out that application. You can download it from Play Store. If you already have the application, please have a look at the videos which are present over there in the subsection which is called as aptitude edge. ठीक है? फिर से बता दे रहा हूँ, स्किल एज के ऐप में अंदर जाओगे तो एप्टीट्यूड एज का एक सेक्शन मिलेगा, वहां पे आपको काफी प्रैक्टिस क्वेश्चंस भी मिल जाएंगे. ठीक है? So you can check out the application. चलो, that is all for today, guys. See you in the next session tomorrow. Bye and take care.